Hey, what do you say, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a Carisma 1986 Subaru Brat. This is a beautiful, beautiful body. Nice detail. It's got nice metal links on it. Solid axles, metal gears, ball bearings throughout. Nice set of tires, beadlock wheels. Ordinarily, if you've seen any of my videos in the past, you'll know that typically I just do a quick overview, then a run video, and then a little bit of a wrap-up. But this time here, I think this is really worth taking a look at. This is a little build video. It was supposed to be an unboxing video that kind of turned into a little bit of a build video. So this is kind of interesting. Let's take a look. Okay, something different. 1986 Subaru Brat. This is made by Carisma. And the reason I chose this is something different. Not the same old over and over again. So let's take a look what we got here in the box first. It's a licensed body. Solid axles, front and rear 4-link suspension, steel ladder chassis, high torque metal gear servo, waterproof LiPo, safe ESC with the crawler mode, and the ESC and the receiver are separate. 35 turn motor, central mounted transmission, front rear bumpers with shackles and winch mount, true beadlock wheels with high grip tires. Fully adjustable 2.4 gig transmitter, and more about the transmitter. Let's see the other side. No battery addition. So this one here is just the truck and the transmitter. Carisma. I don't know how long they've been around. I don't know much about the company, but I think it looks like a pretty good vehicle. So let's see what we got here on the box. Full-time 4-wheel drive. Independent electronics, 540 brushed motor. It says here 4-wheel independent oil-filled suspension, and then over here it says lock solid axles front and rear. So I think there's a little mistranslation here from a foreign country, but again here ball bearing and brushed fitted drivetrain. So it's all ball bearings. I know that some of the earlier Carisma models had bronze bushings, so that's a nice improvement there. And servo bumper tires. So let's see what else we got. That's about it. Nice looking model, licensed body, nice detail on it. So open it up and see what we got. Pretty well packed. So I'm sure this is the transmitter. Let's take a look at this first, see what it looks like. Looks like it might be switchable from left to right. Steering trim, throttle trim, reversing. Couple extra channels on there. What that is. Forward and reverse. All you got to do is put the 4 AA batteries in there. Got quite a few knobs on there. We're going to have to read up on this one, see what it's all about. No rubber wheel, no foam on there. That's kind of a disappointment, but for the price, this is a complete kit, 200 bucks. So you can't expect too much. Off-road bumpers are separate. Winch ready. Got the D-rings on there when the bumpers are ready. Pretty nice. Comes with a little tire iron. And some body spacers. Let's take a look. Manual inside. Empty box. No battery addition. Okay. So this can be run on NiCad or LiPo. LiPo ready. So, let's see what she looks like. Alright, let's take a look. Wow. Vented tires. You can hear them. Nice soft foam, pretty sticky. They actually feel pretty good for a ready to roll truck. Oh, something's going on here. Oh, one of the links is disconnected. Fell out. The screw fell out. Pulled out of the tie rod end here. So let's take that apart, fix that, and it appears I think that's all it's missing, just that. Okay. Nice looking body. They are smoke windows. You can see through them. Bed. It's got some depth to it. Nice, pretty scale for you know, just a cheap Lexan body. Usually they're not quite that deep, but that looks good. Nice fender wells. So everything on here are decals. These are all decals. Decal, decal. Lights are decals. The grill is decal. It looks nice. Let's see these shocks. A little bouncier than I like to see. Plastic links. These are all metal links. So the 4-link suspension is all metal link, metal drive shafts, U-joints. Nice and scale actually. Got nice sliders. Pretty good clearance on the differentials. These are metal gear. These feel like plastic shocks. Let's see. Yeah, these are plastic shocks, but they're threaded, adjustable. So they feel okay. Like I said, a little bouncier than I like to see, but that's part of that blanket I got them sitting on. Reset. That's the first thing that'll go. Clip that baby right off and just either put on a EC3 or a D's connector. And nice low battery tray in the front. Not bad. These chrome wheels. And they are true bead lock. So maybe gonna have to find a replacement for that drag link. And we'll see if I can dig through the remains of that box and find that screw that's missing. Actually, it's not a screw missing, just the rod end unthreaded. I don't know if it pulled out. We'll put a little bit of CA on there and thread it back on, call it a day. But first thing to go. Let's get a battery out here and make sure that we're not connecting it backwards. So the lead is on the cross one. Okay. So we'll have to tin this, get it soldered on. Okay. And I'm just going to pause this while I wait for my soldering iron to heat up. You guys don't need to wait for that, and we'll be back in a few minutes. I guess while we're waiting, we can tear into this bag of parts and put a bumper on. see how we do on here. Let's set the body on first, see where we are with the bumpers. I should put the front of the body on the front of the car, huh? Okay. Let's see where they're set. That's kind of right there. Pretty tight tolerance on that bumper. Though I like the bumper being in as far as we can go with it. You just can't get the body on. So you have to trim it. Make sure I'm looking at that right. Measure twice, cut once, right? If you want to get this body on, this bumper on, you got to trim the body. Looks awfully close. Yeah, actually they show the body trimmed to use the bumper. You can see it right here. They show that the body's been trimmed. So I think we're going to get out the Lexan scissors and give her a little trimming. There it is. So to get that bumper on, we do have to trim that body. It's the shape of the bumper. So just below the parking lights, down below the license plate, and back up. So I'm going to clean these up a little bit more. There was just rough cuts. Clean them up a little bit more, see if we can get it to fit nice and even. And should be good. And that would be on that first hole on the bumper. And I know there's more than one way to skin a cat. Some guys just use a Dremel it out. Some guys score it with a hobby knife and snap it off. But I find this is a little bit easier for me. Yeah, that's a pretty good fit. Just matches the contour of that bumper. So we're going to run a couple screws right down in there and go on to the rear bumper. Okay. Flip around, get the back. Up this body. Oh. Yeah, so that bumper, it's in there, but it's okay. You got to keep in mind the price point on this vehicle, $200. There's a lot there for $200, you know. I don't know how it's going to be on the trail. We're going to find that out later on today, but I mean, all steel links, ball bearings everywhere, bead locks. Lexan body is a 40 motor, separate radio and transmitter. So all waterproof ESC, waterproof radio. Got plenty of room. I think, well, no, I don't think you can fit a long can in there, a 550, because it's going to hit that link right in here, but slipper clutch, drag brake. Everything is good. We're going to see. Got that soldering iron heated up. So here you can buy these. Don't be afraid to solder on connectors and replace them. See, I'm not crazy about Deans, but most of the batteries I have left over from, you know, my airplanes and stuff like that, a lot of them have Deans connectors on them, and they're fine. I've got some the new smart batteries from Spectrum that have the IC3 connector. They work fine too. So, but don't get intimidated when you have to solder. I just have a cheesy little Weller 50-watt soldering iron. It does the job. So one of those little devices that has the clamp on it. I got a couple of small clamps I might have to employ. So I got my thumb over here. I'm feeling for the heat. And once it gets heat, once that heats up, you can tin it. Thing is to bring your surface up to temperature. Not just melt solder on a cold surface. You got to heat the surface and then add some solder. See that? That's called tinning it. So now the solder is stuck on there. You're not just melting a blob of solder onto a piece of cold metal. Just a little clamp, that'll help you. And as you can see, I'm pretty shaky. My hands are pretty shaky, they always have been. It's a curse. My grandfather was the same way. So that's tinned. Both surfaces, both contacts on that connector are tinned. I'll come over here. Just move a little bit closer. I'm going to tin this wire. Get her up. Now that heat is going to run right up the wire, so the idea is trying to get it hot fast. That's why a better soldering iron is always nice to have. It will heat the surface quick. You can get the solder stuck to it without losing all the heat up the wire. So now that one there is tinned. You have to be careful with batteries. If you don't get it hot enough, you'll get a cold solder joint. It's what they call a cold solder joint, which can fail. So, both tinned. Now the red wire is on the cross. Alright. Make sure you don't hook these up backwards. Go. So a lot of guys use a cigarette lighter for their heat shrink. Just let this cool off a little bit, and then we'll slide it up after this cools. So slide it up, and then I just use my soldering iron. Just one. Really should do is clean off the soldering iron here with a damp sponge every once in a while. Steel wool or a little brass wool just to clean it. Your tips will last a lot longer, but for the sake of getting through this video, I just kind of wing it and get the soldering done. So let me get this unplugged before I burn the house down. So, who does the YouTube video unprepared? I did. I didn't have batteries for my controller, so I had to go raid some batteries out of another controller I had. So that's a standard pack. Radio is turned on. I, for some reason, don't trust this. I'm going to get it off the surface. So don't go taking off and running through my fish tank. Let's see. Red to red, black to black. Yeah. Red LED, that means it is set up for crawler mode. It says 3 modes. That's beginner mode, which is, I think it has limited steering, limited speed. And then there is forward only. And then there's crawl mode. So let's see what we got. Got a drag brake set. Looks like to 100%, which is good for crawling. Instant reverse for crawling, which I also like. So, you know, you don't have to worry about going into neutral, hitting the brake, and then hitting reverse. It's automatic, so I like that. So, there you go. I think we're good. So, I know this was an unboxing video, which kind of turned into a build video, which shouldn't be when you have an RTR. But I got to tell you, for 200 bucks, had a couple little glitches. We had that one link that was had the rod end pulled off, and I switched out the body connector and had a trim for the bumpers. But other than that, for 200 bucks, looks like a pretty good deal. Well, I'll tell you, fellas, I can't wait to get this thing out on the trail. It looks like it's going to be a very capable, well-behaved vehicle. So as always, on the way out, leave a comment, give it a thumbs up if you liked the video, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next time.